This week on And You Don't Stop, we speak to artist and organizer Patrisse Cullors Brignac, co-founder of the Black Lives Matter hashtag and movement. And we have Los Angeles' very own Damon Turner, aka Real8, on Rooftop Live.
The acquittal of George Zimmerman happened last year in 2013.
State of Florida versus George Zimmerman. Verdict: we the jury find George Zimmerman not guilty. So say we all four-person.
Myself and Alicia Garza were over Facebook. We were just trying to process out loud on social media with other black people around what the hell just happened. And so we were going back and forth, and she writes a love letter to black folks hey, listen, I love y'all. And I'm going to always be shocked when they clearly hate us. I'm gonna never numb myself, because a lot of black folks were this is what was gonna happen, what did we expect? And so I wrote her and I was thank you so much. And then she wrote Black Lives Matter, and then I hashtagged it. Literally within the day, I don't even remember how it became huge, but people started hashtagging it Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And then by Monday, I was getting on the radio to talk about this movement called Black Lives Matter. And I was y'all, Alicia and I are creating this project called Black Lives Matter. We're hoping that more black people than we could ever imagine will join. And then I think by that week, Opal Tometi, the third founder, she's a communications person, and she was y'all gotta build an infrastructure for this. And so she built the Twitter and the Facebook and the Tumblr. And for us, Black Lives Matter from jump was never just about the killings of young black boys. It was that is the most egregious act, right? The way that lynching was the most egregious act of the Jim Crow South. But rather, Black Lives Matter is a call to action for all black lives. My conversation is always, if all lives matter, we would not need a hashtag Black Lives Matter. And if all lives matter, then you're gonna fight like hell for black lives. So 3 women created Black Lives Matter hashtag/network movement, however you wanna name it, 2 of which are queer. Myself and Alicia Garza are out queer women. We felt like there wasn't a black movement that was looking at the relevancy of women and also the importance we play in the movement. And there sure as hell wasn't a black movement that was looking at black trans people. And that it was both our obligation, our duty, and sort of our work to move the narrative forward to say all black lives matter. We're generating a new politic around what we mean by all black lives. And the other thing I think it's important that I think connects to all black lives is we're also trying to build a new way of building leadership. I'm not the leader of the movement. I'm one of many leaders. And we have lots of folks in Black Lives Matter who are Afro-Latinos. We have folks in Black Lives Matter who are, we have a chapter in Ghana, right? And so Haiti just hashtagged it, I think a day ago. They had the sign, Ferguson to Haiti, Black Lives Matter. So the concept of blackness and anti-blackness resonates across the globe. And we're hoping to really push that because it could be easy to get bogged down in a very US framework. And I think that we actually need to broaden our scope. The biggest thing for me is building power in our communities. I think this is, in this moment, we have a prime opportunity to really build alliances with Latino communities in this country in particular. I think we have an opportunity to start building towards a broader program around when we're talking about black lives, what do we actually mean by that? The fight for housing, the fight for food, the fight for access to education. How do we actually change the culture of this nation? How do we change the culture, the international scope of anti-blackness? And part of that is taking space, taking the streets. The reason why Ferguson was so powerful is because people didn't go back into their homes. They put a curfew on people. People didn't leave. They tear gas people. People didn't leave. They rubber bulleted them. They brought out the National Guard. They brought out every single piece of law enforcement from every part of St. Louis, and people stayed out in the streets. And then folks were like, oh, they're not leaving. That means they're not giving up. The marching and the protesting and the taking of the streets is critical when we're trying to engage changing the culture of a people that will eventually change policy.
You yourself, you perform under the name Real8, right? And tell us a little bit about your role as an artist in contributing to this movement.
My artistry is being seen more kind of behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Where You know, I'll do like some graphic design work, you know what I'm saying? I'll make like a cool mixtape or whatever for the movement, like folks can listen to. You know, produce an event, like a turn up or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so mine is more like in the ideas of the movement as we like build this framework for ourselves. And I just feel like it's necessary, man. It's almost like taking a temperature check of everything going on, right? So we're at the rallies and everybody's out getting blah, 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 blah. But you see like, it's like crazy energy, right? Like folks are anxious, all this stuff, like, but they don't have any way to release it, right? So I'm like, yo, how do we get into a space where we can release that kind of energy without getting arrested right now? Let's throw a party real quick, you know what I'm saying? Let me call the DJ homies up, get a space, get some drinks, get some food, boom, turn up, you know what I'm saying? Like BLM turn up right now. Folks like, hell yeah, man, what's up? Let's do it, you know what I mean? Dancing to trap shit, dancing to all that, you know what I mean? Like the cultural piece, bro, and letting that be okay. So I feel like for me, like a lot of it has been in the idea phase, but also like I'm moving more into like the music of it all, you know what I'm saying? Like and the writings of it all right now. I think being able to do this work full time is gonna open up that space for me now a lot more than it did in the past. So this year I'm working on a project, you know what I'm saying? We got a track out right now called Black Lives Matter here. And you know, featuring a Nina Simone sample. I reached out to my brother Tef Poe to get on that, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's a turn up track, you know what I'm saying? My boy Dutch out of Florida produces crazy anthems, and like he just makes these like really banging like dance turn up tracks. And
Stadium status.
You know what I mean? Stadium shit, and we're gonna like, but we're gonna put the message in there, you know what I'm saying, and make it do what it does. So.
Definitely. And tell me about the origin of the name Real8.
Ah, man, you the only person in my life that's ever asked me that question, man. It has to be on camera. I used to be under the name Miscellaneous, right? Like this miscellaneous MC that kind of had all these flows. But when you think about the name Miscellaneous, it's kind of obscure, like it's not defined or anything. So I was kind of, you know, folks my whole life have always been like, man, like I can relate to you and like your story or your spirit is so relatable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I can just open up to you, like something about you, like whatever. But I've always personally had like a desire for like a two-part name, like a Lupe Fiasco, you know, Jay-Z, or you know what I'm saying? Big Pun. Like, how do I get that? You know what I mean? And I was like, man, so when I heard Real8, like I saw it as like real, keeping it 100%, which is to hold me accountable, right? And then the 8, when you flip it, is infinite, right? Relate, like relate to the people, but also relate to yourself.
Fresh.
First and foremost, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the origin of that.
Biggest influences, MCs.
Ooh, all time, just period?
Period.
Jeez.
Give me 3.
Right. Give you 3, Common, Jay, and Outkast.
All right, that's definitely good choices.
Look, if I had the world in my palm right now, I'd be Miles Davis. I ain't playing. See, notes is in my register. My register ain't vacant. And I study Christ, but I'm sick of being patient. And I'm sick like a sickle cell patient. Wait. Peace to my little brother fighting it every day like a bullet burning in his body from the AK. What an idea. To have a world ideal where fuck treatment, my little brother gets a cure for his pain. Or a quarter of the money that these sucker niggas rain on a woman or a horse, house of damn chain. Till then we're on the move like 72 PA. Hey, I'm Jazz in the flesh. Came out my mama scatting, now I'm skating to the top with power in my breath. 5 years ago, I was living in the Kia Rio. 2 years ago, tiptoeing on the edge. But this year, let's be clear, we getting bread or your favorite rapper's dead out. Drive them like a driver till they diving off the ledge and you'll find them where you find them. But the better replacement's here with the movement that'll move you in a better direction. Yeah, we're on a rise like dandelions be everywhere. See, we defy gravity's rules. This system tried to subdue our spirit, but fuel sees to fly further through the air. We're transgenerational portal hoppers. Wendy Morgan depicting the scriptures of Gnarls Barkley. My mom was a godly woman. She said we were more than conquerors in this life. So I moved like a blues man that night. I play my horn, lovely the horn, then I take that flight to the next city where all the citizens live greedy despite The circumstance called life in this country, where slavery still alive in capsule, run in your home and kill your baby that's 5 because they were looking for a brother same complexion as mine. They were chasing Buddy because he didn't pay for that ride on public transit. But if they catch him, then he's serving that time in a gang where it's changed no particular signs. I call that their free labor, modern day genocide. Blacks and Latinos living in the hoods of the barrios gotta damn near die to survive. But if I ruled the world, no more mama would cry, no more daddy would run, all our families would rise, and this prison industrial complex will be a foreign concept. European conquest would have died with their baby's first breath. The trees in the South will only bear familiar fruit there. The sea will be clean, slave blood wouldn't pollute there. No wonder why I cry in the truth here, cause there's so much pain produced here. I go to sleep and see for Hampton in my nightmares. It seems that any speaker that speaks on wickedness seen ends up new news on news. Bear witness to Martin Luther King with a sling. I'm throwing rocks at the giant. Civil defiance is key. Relate hardy. These mystery rappers mystery meat. It gets harder to see clearly y'all intentions for peace. But listen, if this was just my world, my mama's heart wouldn't have attacked. Nina would have been understood. All of the babies of the world would eat at a table like they should. My Auntie Jerry would have been good. Yeah, Auntie Jerry would have been good. Lupus wouldn't have took her life. All of my cousins would be all right. And all of my brothers will be free from those cages. Despite their actions and jobs are created where minimum is livable wages. We about to free our people. Fuck a Benjamin Franklin. This is my declaration.